We have Dragon's Roar. This is the Dynasmon option card that features a
Yeah.
Ritual Knee. And it also is another security card or option card that activates when trashed from security. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. When it's so when you have data or Witch Elney, if you have a yellow Digimon with data or Witch Elney, you can ignore the colors card require or color requirements. When you trash the top card by trashing the top card of security, one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 6,000 DP until the end of the turn. Then if you have two or fewer security cards, place this as the bottom. So if you've got three, so let's say you Pulsemon this, you do the Pulsemon effect, you bring it down to three, which he is a yellow data, so you could put Pulsemon in this deck. Um, but you bring it down to three, you use this card, it's your third card, it'll slip back underneath and you'll back up to three security. So this card can essentially loop itself if you have two or fewer security.
Mm, pretty solid.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Pretty cool. This is the Lord Nightmon option. While you have a Digimon with Nightmon in its text, you may ignore this card's color requirements. Until the end of your opponent's turn, give one of their Digimon, start of your main phase, this Digimon attacks, then place this card in the battle area, and then it has an all turns when attack targets change. Activate the delay. One of your Digimon gains piercing and security attack +1 until the end of your turn. So you can force one
Yeah.
of your opponent's Digimon to attack, and then like block it for example, and then when that activates, you get the delay effect, which
Yeah.
is
Well,
piercing
it'd
and
be for
security.
the collision.
Uh,
Because you swing with collusion, you get piercing security attack +1, which again, this option card plus that Lord Nightmon does not equal the Lord Nightmon X.
gotcha, gotcha. And then
Uh,
a Lucamon card, Gospel
oh boy.
Alto. Your Digimon in the breeding area may Digivolve into Lucamon in your trash without paying the cost. Then place this card in the battle area. Fudge.
Which, good news, Yellow Lucamon from this set cannot Digivolve.
That's good. Main, it's a delay by Digivolving one of your Digimon with Lucamon in its name into a Digimon card with Lucamon in its name in the trash, with the Digivolution cost reduced by 3. Trash one of your opponent's option cards in the battle area.
Goodbye, trainings.
That's or memory boost
Yep.
or any other delay effects.
If we
All
had
right.
scrambles.
Yeah, scrambles goodbye. All right, we get into the level 7s here. Lucamon Satan mode.
Oh,
So you can
boy.
Digivolve this guy on top of Lucamon Chaos mode for 6. When
Yeah.
Digivolving, by playing one Lucamon larva from your trash to your empty breeding area without paying the cost, delete one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers. Cool. And then end of all turns, once per turn, trash your opponent's top security card. If this effect didn't trash, delete one of your opponent's Digimon and one of their Tamers. It's kind
See,
of
I feel like
ridiculous.
this Satan mode is good, but it's also kind of like not the most amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if that comes on the field, I'm not like, oh God, my world is over. It's like they kill a Digimon in one of your tamers, and more than likely you can prevent the Digimon from being deleted. A
Yeah.
lot of the times.
I think the most annoying part is this gets larva into the breeding area,
Yeah, that's
and then
true.
you can bring larva up when this card, like when you attempt to delete this card,
Yeah,
and it's basically like a Death X, like a really big Death X mon, essentially, because
yeah,
it just sits there and it's just like, oh, we're like, if this card lives, it's just gonna constantly be deleting your stuff
yeah.
or attempting to delete your stuff at the end of every turn, constantly. It's not like
Oh
end of
yeah,
your
because it's
opponent's
end of
turn.
all
It's not end of
turns.
your
That's what I
turn.
was
It's
thinking. End of opponent's turn.
it's end of the turn. Period.
Yeah, that
Every
card's
turn.
obnoxious.
It's just your tamer's gone because you can't protect your tamer. Nothing you do protects your
Yeah.
tamer. So like you're just basically losing a tamer every turn, losing a Digimon literally every turn. So it's kind of ridiculous. And then it has protection through the larva mode. Could be really obnoxious if you just let it sit. So
Yeah.
and then we have the other big boy of this set, Susanomon Ace. Well, of the BT18 cards in this set, I should say. Um, so this guy digivolves on top of a Takuya or Koji with 10 hybrid trait cards underneath it for a cost of 6. So this is where like the stacking of cards underneath that Takuya Koji Tamer comes into play because you're basically trying to set up so you can go into this guy for 6, like out of nowhere, right? And then it's Blast Digivolve because it's an ace. That's normal. When Digivolving, when attacking, delete one of your opponent's 10k DP or lower Digimon. For each color in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, add 2,000 to this DP deletion effects maximum. Kind of crazy because you'll have a ton of
Yeah.
different cards with up to 10 hybrid trait cards underneath it. You're going to have a bunch of colors underneath it. And then when attacking by placing up to 5 Tamer cards from this Digimon's Digivolution cards as your bottom security cards. For each one, trash your opponent's top security card.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, so with the option card, you can use the option card to place a bunch of Tamers
Yep.
underneath. One of your Digimon or Tamers may Digivolve into Susanomon, and then you can place up to 4 Tamers with different colors underneath one of your Susanomons, and then you'll gain a memory. So essentially, this option card plays for 2 if you do it correctly, and then your Susanomon gets a bunch of Tamers underneath it, and then when you attack with that, you can place up to 5 of the Tamers that you place underneath this guy, which you should have 5 at that point. You can place them underneath, place them to the bottom of your security card and of your security, and then you trash all of your opponent's security essentially if they have 5. That is pretty good. A lot better
Yeah,
than old
that's kind of
Susanomon,
crazy.
um, if we're being honest. So gotta love that.
All right. Well, we're getting into BT19 here, which is exciting for me because this has more Liberator stuff, and I'm a huge fan of Digimon Liberator. So Sangamon, if you have not seen him in the webcomics, Sangamon, he reveals top 3. You can take an Aqua or Sea Animal in one of its traits, and a Liberator card rest go to the bottom. End of attack, you gain a memory, which is really cool. I really like this card. I've played this deck a little bit. I think it's very fun. I don't think it's super competitively viable, but it's very fun. The egg in particular, its opponent's turn when one of their Digimon attacks, you can deck bottom that Digimon to return one of their Digimon of the same level or lower to the hand, which is a really cool thing because decode activates.
Yes, and he's really cute.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Uh,
I assume
Go ahead.
Shellmon would be the next
Yeah,
one.
Shellmon just lets you play out a Xiao or Yao Quinlan. You got one or fewer tamers. The big thing for this deck is the Hongkunmon,
The
which
hell?
Zyquay bounces a level 3. It's got jamming. This card, blocker, when Digivolving and on play until the end of your opponent's turn, one of your Digimon can't be deleted in battle, but it's inheritable, is this Digimon's attack target can't be switched. So that
Gotcha.
means collision doesn't work. That means blocker doesn't work, redirection doesn't work, and it's just an inheritable. That's it. We used to have the Mirage. That's one attacking if you have 8 or more cards in hand. Can't have its attack target change. This one is just inheritable, which is
Wait,
really strong.
does this work for collision? Because technically, when you're blocking, it's not you're not the one attacking. They're
Yeah, I
switching.
meant like if
Okay,
the
gotcha.
Lord Nightmon Ace gives it collision,
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Yeah,
because
yeah,
that it gives it collision.
gotcha.
Other than that, we've got Marine Beaumont, which introduces decode for the first time, which, if you don't know what decode specifies the level, so this one's blue level 4. When the Digimon would leave the battle area other than in battle, you may play one level 4 blue Digimon card from its Digi-Evolution card. So if we flash back to BT18, the Lanamon, this Marine Beaumont can spit out the Lanamon searches, okay?
Nice.
On play when Digivolving, you can place one Digimon card with the Aqua or Sea Animal in its traits from your hand as the bottom Digi-Evolution card. So you could put Zyquay in, which gives you jamming. Then you can play the Zyquay out, which will bounce a level 3 back to hand. Super cool. Its end of attack inheritable also lets you play a level 4 lower Aqua or Sea Animal from its trait, from its Digi-Evolution cards without paying the cost, which is really, really fun. It is a very fun deck, especially mixed with the Tamer. The Tamer, when you attack, you slot something underneath, so these combo really nicely.
Yeah, so decode's a lot like partition, but just like
Yep.
half partition,
Yeah,
basically.
and partition doesn't activate on your effects, I
Gotcha.
don't think.
Yes,
But yeah.
but a
And
similar kind
then
of
Ryugamon, this is the boss of the deck. I like I said, love Liberator. This is a deck I'm very excited for. Decode level 5. We just talked about Decode. When Digivolving, you may play one level 4 lower blue Digimon card from this Digimon's Digi-Evolution cards without paying the cost. You're not restricted to the Aqua or Sea Animal there. For those fish players, the Aqua and Sea Animal cards we have aren't super powerful, which kind of stinks. But this lets you kind of bypass that, so you can even play out a Betamon, which is nice. End of your turn, once per turn, you can return one of your Digimon to the bottom of the deck to return one of your opponent's Digimon as high or low a level as the Digimon you bottom decked. So, which is nice if you target a Marine Bullmon bottom decks itself decodes out that level 4, and you get to bounce a level 5 or lower to somebody's bottom deck, which is, or to the hand, I'm sorry. Turn one of your opponent's Digimon. Oh, yeah, it does go to the bottom of the deck too. So that's really cool. That's something that I'm very excited for.
That's a really cool card. Yeah,
Yeah.
Liberator's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And I think we can go. Yeah, I'm in love with the Liberator. It's so much fun. But this is more Dynasmon support, which Ben and I are both very excited for.
So another card that trashes top of security to gain a resource. In this case, it's memory. Tap your mon, and then it has the same. I think we'll keep seeing this kind of protection effect
Yeah.
over and over again, which is just you can trash the top card of your security to prevent your Dynasmon, we'll say, from leaving the battle area by opponent's effects. But essentially, it applies to any data or Witchel cards.
Hmm.
Um, we'll skip over the Airdramon. It's just a minus security attack -1 effect, and then you can recover one. I'll put it up just so people can read it.
Yeah.
And
Two or
then
fewer, you get to recover one.
and then
This is exciting.
Wizardmon X, a new
Yeah.
Wizardmon X antibody.
Yeah. On play when Digivolving, add the top card of your security to hand. Then, if you've got Wizardmon or X Antibody and its Digi-Evolution cards, you may place one cost 5 or lower yellow or purple option card from your hand as the bottom security card. Now, as much as I would love to put Revelation of Light into my security, that only works with vaccines, but it's very tempting. It's very tempting. Obviously, this is for the option card that we saw earlier. I forget its name, but it's the Dynasmon option card. This one's really powerful. I really like it. Same inheritable for protection, though.
Yeah, and I could see this even potentially being used in like granted it doesn't make a lot of sense to use it, but you could potentially use this in a deck like Beelzemon and use it to get
Yeah.
your shoot, I forget the
Death
name of the card,
Slingers.
Death Slingers into the
Yeah.
bottom of security as just like a way to prevent your like to mess with your opponent a little bit, you know. Um,
Yeah. You just goof on them a little bit.
and then we have the next Dynasmon, the BT19 Dynasmon. This
Mm.
guy's pretty solid on play when Digivolving by trashing your top security card. One of your Digimon gains blocker and gets plus 6k DP until the end of your opponent's turn. And then all turns, once per turn, when this Digimon would leave the battle area, if you have 2 or fewer security cards, recover 1, which is pretty solid because
Yeah.
if you think about it, you would you could technically use your protection to trash a security to get to 2 and then recover 1. I don't think that works that way, but it would be cool if it did.
I think the big issue with this deck is you're trying to dance in the realm of having 1 to 3 security.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing, or like 1 to 2 security. Because if you've noticed, the Wizardmon X is really the only thing that adds something into your security.
Yeah.
Everything else is just trashing it, except for the option card. So it's like you're dancing in the realm of very low security. And yeah, those option cards are good, but you could have a Quartzmon that goes, oh, I'm gonna trash top 2 swing for game, or Crimson Mode Ace, I'm gonna trash top 2 swing for game, and just go there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really affect those cards with big DP.
Or a
Because
Beelzemon
again,
X.
yeah, because again, you have to, even with the option cards, you need to trash the top of security. Which, oh, now that I think about it, though, it loops itself back in if you
Yeah,
have 2 or fewer,
because
which is pretty cool.
you can use this to recover 1 and then use the protection to prevent its
Yeah.
deletion to then go back to 2, right? But it's still kind of like you still are playing on that knife's edge, which is difficult.
Yeah.
And with so many decks in the format that can just like take advantage of you being on like 1 or 2 security to just like
Mhm.
burst you down really quickly, it's hard to like justify playing it. But still, Dynasmon X, another crazy card, raid blocker
Card's awesome.
inherently, and then it can digivolve for 1 on top of Dynasmon. And then when digivolving, when attacking, once per turn, if Dynasmon or X antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, by trashing your top security card, trash your opponent's top security card, and this Digimon gets plus 6k DP until the end of your opponent's turn, which is pretty solid. And then end of turn, if you have 2 or fewer security cards, recover 1. So this is a card you definitely want to try and get out as quickly as possible with this deck, and essentially just helps you like create some board control um, by trashing your security, but then also trashing your opponents, and then giving plus 6 KDP to just make himself super big and potentially,
Mm.
and it has blocker, so you're just this big blocker, and then if you have at the end of your turn, like it says, if you have two or fewer security cards, you get to recover one, which is really
Yeah.
nice. So it helps prevent the bleeding that might happen with this deck,
Hmm.
where you're just like
The
constantly trashing.
the other cool thing about this is it's not end of turn, where I think one of the other Dynasmons that's when attacking is not a once per turn as well. Your end of turn, you recover one. Let's say you go to 3, you suspend a car, you gain a memory, puts you back on your turn. You swing again, trash top of your security again. Then you can recover one once more. So you can kind of like get this end of turn recovery a couple of times if you play your cards right.
Yes, which is really cool, and a really like fun way to be able to play the deck. I definitely think it is pretty powerful once you get the looping going, or if you can get a loop going, but it can still struggle a little bit with just the speed of the meta currently. And now, one of my top
This card's so
cards
stupid.
to get restricted in this set.
This
This
card's
card,
so dumb.
when you consider all the other Lucamon stuff that we get access to in this set, and then you look at this card, it's like the Beelzemon X issue, right? It's just this one card is so powerful that it's hard to really justify having it at 4. And it's going to be pretty wild to see it at 4 in our meta specifically. So we'll get into it. It's Lucamon X. Really cool card, really powerful card. It digivolves on top of level 5 or higher with Lucamon in its name for a cost of 3. And then all turns once per turn when this Digimon would leave the battle area, if a card with Lucamon in its name is in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, by trashing both players' top security cards, it does not leave the battlefield. End of your turn, once per turn, your opponent may trash the top of the security card. If this effect didn't trash, recover one and delete one of their Digimon or Tamers.
It's
It's
ridiculous.
it's so
That's
stupid.
ridiculous.
It's like I hate calling a card stupid because like realistically you should objectively like view it and like see the pros and cons on both sides. But this card is so dumb. Like the fact that it comes out, it has protection built into the card. So within its within this card itself, it reads that it has protection. It's not in an inheritable that can get stripped. It's in the top card, so you have to de-digivolve it in order to get rid of this protection. But then on top of it, that protection forces you and your opponent to trash the top card of your security, which you don't
See
really
that?
care because you're
Yeah,
playing
that
Lucemon.
protection's nice because it's wounding both of you. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Except for the fact that you recover so much with this deck, but it's like it's wounding both of you. It's that end of turn. Trash your security. Ah, you don't want to? I get a card and you die, you know?
yeah. It's the combination of both. I think that makes this card
Yeah.
kind of ridiculous in my mind. Like the fact
And
that it comes out, it's gonna have Lucamon in its Digivolution sources, right? If you play it
yeah.
right, and then so it's gonna force you to trash the security, and it'll trash the security, which doesn't seem that bad. But then you realize this deck just recovers so much that it's like,
Yeah. And I think the big issue with this card is that end of turn, it's if this effect didn't trash, you recover one and delete their Digimon. You no longer get a choice to delete your Digimon or Tamer. It's
yeah,
now, oh, you've got protection on your Digimon. Well, let me kill your Tamer instead.
yeah, and it's also both. They get both, right? It's not that they just get to recover if they don't trash a security effect, if they don't trash a security card. It's they get to recover plus they get to delete one of your
Yep.
Digimon or Tamers, which is like crazy to think about because you get faced with a choice of like it's not even a choice, or it is a choice. It's a May effect, but like you get to choose whether or not you want to trash the top card of your security, and if you don't, they directly benefit and still get to pop you, right? Whereas before it was like, oh, they might recover, but like that's okay, I can handle that. Now it's like they recover plus they delete something on your board, and that's like really difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
Um, and
And
so
if
like
this combos with X antibody protoform and you somehow get rid of this, so the big thing with X antibody protoform is with this card, if you go to kill something with protoform, even if you have protection, you still have to get rid of protoform because the effect still activates. So this card can effectively prevent itself from leaving the battle area, place protoform in its security right afterwards. So it trashes, gets protoform in its security after,
yeah,
which is insane.
Yeah. Well, you would have to do the protoform first, technically, I think, by order of
Well, they're
operation.
both when they leave the battle area.
Oh yeah, that's true. But I think it would be. Oh yeah, because you're still leaving the battle area. But
Yep.
um, if you prevent it leaving the battle area and then attempt to activate another when it would leave the battle area effect, does that not like interrupt?
No, because the protoform has to go off.
Okay, but it's
Because so you can choose which one because it's like they both activate. You choose which order. So you do the Lucamon
yeah,
one, and you can put in security, and then the protoform, you can put that in security. So you could choose which either or. But you could
gotcha.
choose to trash the protoform, but I don't know why you'd want to, because you could also be taking the Lucamon out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
I
this way, it's trash both security. Protoform goes into security,
yeah. I mean, it's still like it's also ridiculous to think that you could protoform into this card from a Lucamon
yep.
Chaos mode, which is
And that's
like
for two.
for two, yeah, which is just like crazy to me. But still, very solid card, very good card, very good card. Very happy for the Lucamon players.
I'm not happy for
Claps all
you. I'm
around.
sorry.
And then we get some more Beamon stuff. We get another
Let's
fun Beamon.
go, bees.
This one's similar security face-up security effect. And then your turn when this Digimon would Digivolve into a Digimon card with the Royal Base trait, reduce Digivolution cost by one. Pretty good.
Yeah,
Pretty good. It allows you to go into the Forge Beamon
yeah.
for one.
He's cool looking.
Yeah, he is pretty cool looking. So
Is it-
he's just the face up, same thing, plus DP, and then all turns when any of your other Digimon with the Royal Base trait would leave the battle area by effects. By placing this Digimon face up as the bottom security card, they don't leave, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's really. I really like that they gave it protection like that.
Yeah, because it's protection that directly benefits the win con of the deck, right? Like
Yeah.
you're slotting this guy face up into your security stack, which directly benefits the rest of your deck moving forward, right? It sets you up for late game, which is really fun. And then we have the Vespamon.
Mm-hmm.
This is the level
This
5
one's
of the deck.
cool. Yeah, well, yeah, so it's same like the cannon. It's a security, opponent's turn, all of your royal base trade Digimon game blocker. Differences on play when Digivolving, you delete your opponent's Digimon with a play cost of two or less. For each of your face-up security, you add two to the maximum of this play cost, which is really cool. So you can bounce up to, you can say you got like four face-up security cards, you can add eight to it, okay? For
Yeah,
each one. Really, really cool. This is the same thing that I think their option card does as well. For each of your face up, you can hit higher play cost. But then it's the same inheritable as canon. You delete your opponent's Digimon in battle, trash top of their security, which is really nice. I like how that's for a solid inheritable for both level fives.
yeah,
And we should be hitting the queen soon, I think.
yeah. We're on the last page of the card list.
Yeah, there she is, Queen Beemon. So she's one of the other bosses of the deck. She's got Alliance, which is really awesome. When attacking once per turn, you may play one Royal Trait based Digimon, Royal Base Trait Digimon from your face-up security cards with the play cost reduced by 8, which is awesome. You can spit something out, which means you can spit out your cannons and your Vespa Beemons from your security, which is really awesome. Reduced by 8, so those ones are for free. All turns when any of your royal base trait Digimon would leave the battle area, other than in battle, you may place those Digimon face up as the bottom security card. So instead of them being deleted or bounced, they just go into your security. So you can get a massive amount of security and go really wide with your security and just have her to play stuff out. You play something out with her, you swing, play something out, you can alliance with the thing you just put out, which is great, great combo.
Yeah.
Great combo.
Wow. That's gonna be a pretty fun
Yeah.
deck, I
The
think.
other cool thing is these are insectoids, which means Tyrant can digivolve on top of these.
Yes. Interesting.
Yeah, Tyrant can go on Queen Bee and I think Tiger Vespi for two, which is awesome.
And then we have some more of the Nightmon stuff. So we have Monitamon, which continues to just be a searcher for the deck. Um, really cool little searcher. And he has Reboot Inheritable, which is solid. We have Skull Nightmon, blocker, on deletion save. Nothing crazy, but still a solid level 4 for the tribal. Deadly Axemon, I don't know if you can see it, but it's just retaliation on deletion save. But then we have Dark Nightmon, and he's the rare level 5 for the deck. Material save 1. On play, when digivolving, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon. Then, if digicrossing with 2 cards, you may delete one play cost 3 or lower Digimon or Tamer, which is a pretty solid effect. And then on deletion, you may play one level 4 or lower Digimon card with Nightmon in its text from under your Tamers without paying the cost. Just Digicross -2 or
Yeah,
Skull Nightmon Deadly Axemon. Pretty solid. Pretty solid
yeah.
card.
Especially with the old level fours, because I think they digicross as well.
Yes, yes. And I think being able to de-digivolve one, and then also
Yeah,
when
that's powerful.
digicrossing, being able to delete something play cost 3 or lower, and it's a
Yeah.
Tamer or Digimon is really good. I think that allows for a lot of disruption. But a lot of the Tamers of the set are not 3 cost,
Mm,
so
yeah.
that's something to think about. And then we have another Machine Dramon.
Let's go. So this is the black and purple version of the Millennium on deck, which is cool. So on play when digivolving, you flat out delete a level 5 or lower. That's just strong, especially because there's a lot of things that let you play out Machine Dramons. This is good for regular Machine Dramon, if you are a Machine Dramon fan. On deletion, you may play one level 5 or lower Digimon card with Cyborg or Composite in his trait from your trash without paying the cost, which means you could play out the BT 15, I think it is, Megadramons, or 16, whichever one they are. You can play out the Megadramons for free, and that on play reveals top 3. You slide one underneath his Digi Evolution card, you draw one, trash the rest. Insanely good. Also treated as composite. You can Digicross a level 5 or lower Cyborg or Composite trade Digimon with different card numbers. So you can do up to 5, I think, right? Yeah, 5 level 5s. You reduce it by 1. You play this thing out for 6. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, and it pops to level 5 or lower.
Dang.
Opponent's turn, when any of your opponent's Digimon attack, you can swap it to a composite or a Wicked God trait. Same inheritable as the last one, but this Machine Dramon is really, really solid. Both of them are. They're both really solid. This one can just Digicross.
Yes, that's really solid, really solid.
Yeah.
And then we have, let's see, what is it? Gizamon.
Yep. Yep. So this also supports the composite.
Oh, okay. Just
Um.
a draw, trash
Yeah.
one, draw two. That's pretty.
Yeah. Trash composite or Wicked God, you get 2, and you got blocker inheritable, which is awesome because then you can block with your Chimeramons. They die, you get the DNA.
Oh yeah, pretty solid then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
and then this is the Deltamon.
Yeah, so this Deltamon's really, really interesting. On play when evolving and on deletion, you can trash one card in your hand to delete an opponent's level 4 or lower. Blocker inheritable. This card is not just played in Millenniumon. In the Dark Animal version of Lord Nightmon, which we'll talk about later, this is a 1 or a 2 of because it's so powerful, and Lord Nightmon can play this card out to delete a level 4 or lower. So
Yes.
this is a really strong card that's printed.
This is
Honestly, I can see it being put in a lot of things.
oh, I forget the name of the card, but in Anubismon, back around Nationals time,
Hmm.
um, there was a level 4 that was on play on deletion delete a Digimon with 3k DP or lower, and that kind of served a similar purpose, which was just to like deal with floodgates or
Oh, do you mean
pesky.
the Porcupamon?
Yeah, Porcupamon.
Yeah, it deleted level 3.
Yes, that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I teched that card in my Anubismon deck, and that was kind of like the same vein within the same vein of this card, right? Like you
Yep.
could play it out through Anubismon, you could play it out just on play it from your hand, and it was just a way to deal with floodgates and things that would seek to like disrupt
Yeah.
your engine.
And
So
this one's just arguably better because if this thing gets played out, you can trash a Chimera or a Machine Dramon to get your DNA.
yes, which is pretty solid, but it's also just nice and just a generally good card for purple and black engines.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So it's great, especially the blocker.
yeah, and then now we have the new same set, but technically the BT19 Chimeramon.
Yes, the next new one.
Yes. Which is on play when digivolving by deleting one of your Digimon, delete one of your opponent's level 3 Digimon, one of their level 4 Digimon, and one of their level 5 Digimon. On deletion, by deleting one of your level 4 or lower purple or red Digimon, you may play one Machine Dramon from your trash without paying the cost, which you talked about earlier when we were going over that Machine Dramon, that you have a lot of ways of playing Machine Dramon. This is one of those ways. On deletion, you're able to play out a Machine Dramon if you delete a level 4 or lower purple or red
Yeah.
Digimon. So like you can get that Machine Dramon out pretty effectively, pretty quickly,
Mm-hmm.
and then like be able to snowball. So that's pretty cool. Pretty solid card, and it has security attack +1. So it works in conjunction with the new Millenniumon stuff, which is
Yeah.
really cool. And then we get into more Lord Knight.
Yeah,
Which,
so we are going to be doing a separate video on Lord Nightmon. We'll get into a deep dive into this deck because it is incredibly powerful, but we'll just brush over these cards. Essentially, on play when Digivolving, you get to play at a level 4 or lower from your trash. Pretty easy. Opponent's turn, when any of your opponent's Digimon attacks, you can swap it to a Royal Knight trait Digimon.
so this card
Simple as that.
this card's really cool because outside of the Lord Nightmon deck, it's very, very good in
Mm,
Royal Knights. It
yep.
takes the place of the old Lord Nightmon. For me personally, in a lot of instances, and it's just a really solid all-around card for Royal Knights. It's a Royal Knight base trait. It's a new name, and then the artwork speaks for itself in a lot of ways with Craniumon and Leopardmon in the backgrounds as well. Really fun card. And
Yeah.
then
This is what makes Lord Nightmon so powerful. So the ace card and everything combined like that option card, this thing just has it. It's got collision, piercing. When digivolving, de-digivolve one of your opponent's Digimon for each Digimon you have in play. Then until the end of your turn, one of their Digimon can't digivolve all turns. While Lord Nightmon or X antibodies in this Digimon's Digivolution cards, all of your Digimon with Lord or Nightmon in their text gains Alliance and 3k DP. So this thing not only has Collision, Alliance, and Piercing, and +3. This is a base 15 card. Insane.
yeah,
Insane. But we'll get into that in a different video.
yeah, it's just this deck is wild, um, and we'll talk about it like we said in a different video. But so look out for that. But oh boy, it's gonna run the meta I think a little bit. Here we
Yeah.
go. And lastly, we have Moon Millenniumon.
Yes, so this finishes out our Millennium Mons for this set. I think. This is. No, we might have the Zed in this. I forgot about Secret Rares.
Oh yes, but this Digivolve on top of Millenniumon for a cost of 2 on play when Digivolving your opponent trashes cards in their hand until they have 5 left. For every 2 this effect trashed, delete one of your opponent's Tamers. All turns when this Digimon would leave the battle area by deleting one of your composite trait Digimon, it doesn't leave. And then all turns once per turn when other Digimon or Tamers are deleted, trash your opponent's top security card. So you can kind of see how this card works. You force your opponent to trash cards from hand, and then for every 2 cards they trash through the effect, you get to delete one of their tamers, and then by deleting one of their tamers, you get to trash one of their security cards. And then
Yeah.
and then its all turns protection allows you to delete a composite trait Digimon, which means you could delete a Chimeramon to then be able to DNA into a Millenniumon from trash. It's you can do all sorts of stuff. This really enables the engine of that deck. So it's like it's one of the big cards for that deck. And now I guess we can talk about some of the tamers. You have
Yeah,
Yao.
we'll be able to fly through these pretty quick. So,
Yao
like I said
Shinran.
earlier, when any of your Aqua or Sea Animal Digimon in its traits attack, you can suspend the tamer. You can slot a level 5 or lower Aqua or Sea Animal to the bottom Digi-Evolution card of the Digimon. Pretty simple. The alt art's really cute. Now, Wiener. I know his name's not pronounced that way. It's probably like Winner, but that's Wiener to me. Start of main phase. If you got a face-up security card, you gain a memory. Main. By suspending this tamer, one of your Digimon may digivolve into a Digimon card in your face-up security cards. If you did digivolve, you get to replace that card with a royal base trait Digimon from your hand. Put it as a face-up security card. Pretty awesome. Now, this and the Izzy Azumi with the redirection with your memory setter, they work really, really nicely together. It's kind of hand in hand. Then we're gonna go into this Nene. This is for Skull Nightmon, so all you Skull Nightmon fans, you finally got a new one. Memory Setter, all turns when any of your Composite or Twilight trait Digimon with Digicross requirements would be played, you can suspend the Tamer 1 card under your Tamers, and 1 card from your trash can be placed for the Digicross. So you can just loop your Digicross requirements. I believe one of the old one also lets you pull from trash as well, so pretty nice here and there.
Yes, very solid card. And then yes, we do see the Zed
Yeah.
Millenniumon. We'll skip over the option cards for now, but Zed, because Zed is just worth talking about.
Yes.
So
He's
as
blowing up a building.
Yeah, so as we said, this is kind of the big bad for the Millenniumon deck itself. This Digivolves on top of Moon Millenniumon for a cost of 2. It has Overclock with Composite Trait, so that means at the end of
Mm.
your turn, by deleting one of your tokens or another Composite Trait Digimon, you can attack a player without suspending. You see this in Centralmon. It's a very powerful keyword, in my opinion, and
Hmm.
allows you to do quite a lot of stuff. And in this deck specifically, where you have a bunch of on deletions that then allow you to get Millenniumons onto the board, it's kind of nice to be able to delete your composite stuff. So on play, when digivolving, when attacking, by returning one Digimon card from your opponent's trash to the top of their deck, return one of their Digimon to the bottom of the deck. So you can return a card from their trash to their deck, and then you return a card from their field to their deck, which is pretty good. All
Yeah.
turns, this Digimon with no Digivolution cards cannot suspend and isn't affected by your opponent's effects. So if it doesn't have any Digivolution cards, it can't suspend, but it can still
Hmm.
overclock, and it's unaffected by all of your effects. So
Yeah. 'Cause
essentially, it gets
I
crazy
do think
protection.
yeah, and I do think there is a card that plays the Millennium out. I don't remember what it is.
I would
It
assume.
might be the option, but there is a card that I think can play Zed out.
Um,
Yeah, there it is.
yes. So you may play one composite trait Digimon card from your trash with the play cost reduced by 4. Then place this card in the battle area. When any of your Digimon with Millenniumon in their names would leave the battle area, use this delay. You may play one Wicked God trait Digimon with a play cost 1 higher than that Digimon from your hand or trash without paying the cost. So it's pretty wild. Because technically, if you look at it, it's one more than a Moon Millenniumon.
Yeah. So when the moon would leave, you get to play out
You can use
Zed.
the delay on
Yep.
the Wicked God Descends to play out Zed.
And then even though it can't attack, it's still got overclock. So you can just swing with it anyways.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah, and that Ghost Red looks incredible.
Yeah, we'll look at it.
I think
I'm
we
really
should.
upset that this is.
I am too. I think seventh Divine Cruise.
Yes.
That's one. So that's one of the Lucimon cards, as all the X antibody Demon Lords has. Crash effects. When any of your Digimon would Digivolve into Lucimon X antibody, by returning this card to the bottom of the deck, your opponent may trash their top security. If it did trash, recover one. Your main, delete your opponent's Digimon until they have as many as you have security cards. This effect deleted, recover one. So if you have two security cards or one security card and you have an opponent that plays out a wide board and they hit this, you cry because they wipe a bunch of your Digimon out. So if
Yeah.
you're a Diaboromon fan, I'm sorry. But
But
its security effect is different. You get to play a Lucamon from your trash without playing the cost, which is pretty cool.
yeah, I mean,
Um, I'm happy it doesn't activate main.
honestly, looking at this card, like, and looking at a lot of the other cards that you get as part of the Lucamon deck,
It's not that good.
um, it's it's gonna be a pretty wild deck to see like crop
Yeah,
up in our meta. It didn't have a lot of positions, like it didn't take a lot of top spots in Japan, but I feel like coming into the U.S. meta with as many people who love the Lucamon line, and with as many people who love playing like a more control oriented style, I think this deck works really well into that frame of
yeah,
mind, and I think we're gonna see a lot of Lucamon control style decks where you just really take advantage of the like very powerful control effects that these cards have, and the recovery is just ridiculous as well. I mean,
yeah.
it's
I
just
think this card is just a card you want to get in trash, honestly. I think it's a one or a two of you put it in trash so you can get the trash effect.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the
I
security
think its
effect's
main
really
is kind
good
of.
as well.
Yeah. I just think the main just isn't that good. Because, I mean, like, half the time this deck is going to have more security than your opponent. Most
Yeah,
of the
I
time.
think the point of this card is to either get it in security or get it in trash more times than not. Like, I think you play this card hoping it's either gonna end up in your trash or end up in your security. Because I think the security effect is good enough to warrant playing it, and the trash effect is also very good. Like basically telling your opponent trash is a security card, and if you don't, I'm gonna recover one is pretty nice. Especially when you have Lucamon X Antibody that's getting digivolved into and forcing you both to trash security cards,
Yeah.
and then and then also at the end of turn forcing you to make that choice of whether or not you want to trash the security card, and then this card making you choose whether or not you want to trash the security card is really, really, really crazy. Like when you think about it, this card's in trash. They go into Lucamon X. You and your opponent both trash a security card, but then you recover a security card if they don't trash one off of your end of turn, and then you also recover another one if you don't trash one off of this card's effect as well, which means they like net +1 security card in that entire thing if you
Yeah.
choose not to trash, which is
Especially if there's protoform and that thing goes to leave field, you get the protoform into security. So you just
yeah,
keep getting security.
it's I think this deck is like not getting it didn't get the love it deserved in Japan, and that's me saying that as someone who doesn't like Lucamon.
Yeah, I
And
think the people who playing it are doing well, but I just I don't think Japan's meta really harnesses control decks super well. They're more of
yeah,
an aggro base region.
oh yeah, yeah, the best of one definitely like lends to that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's SR 2.0, the booster that we have coming out in a little bit. Um, Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video.
Yeah. This is the review. If you guys liked it, go ahead, leave a comment, like the video, and go ahead and comment. What are you guys most excited for this special release booster? What are some thoughts that you guys have on this? Do you agree with some of the things that we talked about? Do you hate Lucamon as much as we do? Or do you love it?
Yeah, let us know, please. I'd love to see a bunch
All
of
right.
Lucamon hate in the
Yeah, yeah.
comments. But yeah,
Um,
see you in the
all
next one,
right.
y'all.
We'll see you next time. All right, and then